All right, everybody, welcome to Uncomplicated Kitchen's Sheet Pan Supper class.
Hola a todos, bienvenidos a otra clase de Uncomplicated Kitchen.
Today, as you know, we're going to make a lot of food in a little bit of a time in a very simple way.
Y hoy, como ya saben, vamos a hacer mucha comida en una ventana de tiempo muy chiquita. What was the last thing you said? I forgot.
Pretty much we're going to do a lot of food in a little bit of time, and it's not going to be hard.
Y no va a ser tan difícil.
All right, so the first thing that I want everybody to do is go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
Entonces, lo primero que van a hacer es precalentar su horno a 400 grados.
Okay, while we're doing that and our oven is preheating, I don't know if you saw your Kitchen Tip Tuesday email, but it is all about the difference between bake and roast.
Entonces, no sé si vieron el correo electrónico que le mandaron el martes, pero esta clase se va a enfocar en la diferencia entre hornear y asar, like roast, as in, what does roast mean?
Active cooking, like when you would say roasting a turkey or roasting vegetables versus like baking a cake or baking cookies.
Oh, okay. Se va a enfocar en la diferencia de los métodos de hornear cuando se trata de repostería versus cuando se trata de hornear un pavo o pollo en el horno.
Yes. So, what I'm doing right now is just cleaning up my vegetables. We're going to cut them in a minute, but just make sure everything looks clean. I'm just cleaning up these Brussels sprouts.
Entonces lo que ahorita estoy haciendo es, estoy preparando los vegetales. Asegúrense de limpiarlos muy bien y luego en un poco los vamos a cortar, pero asegúrense de que queden limpios.
Okay, so the goal of cooking a sheet pan supper is to have everything be done at the same time to avoid undercooked things and overcooked things and so forth.
Entonces, la meta de lo que vamos a hacer hoy, que es usar una bandeja para hacer la receta, es evitar que las comidas se terminen de cocinar a tiempos diferentes. Entonces, queremos que todo se termine de hacer al mismo tiempo.
Okay, so I've got the vegetables I chose are mushrooms, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. And I've chosen some chicken thighs.
Entonces, los vegetales que yo escogí para hoy son brócoli, coles de Bruselas y hongos, y para la proteína, muslos de pollo.
Okay, so we are going to first start prepping our vegetables and we're going to get them on the sheet tray. The first thing we're going to do is, who has broccoli or cauliflower? And also, y'all, if you can turn your video on, I really need to do the show of hands thing. So show me hands. Melanie, just so you know, it is hard for me to check chat, but I do. So, okay, I'm going to try to check chat. And if other people can help me do that, that would be super cool. Because I'm going to have gross hands in a minute. Okay, so cameras on if possible. So the goal, like I said, is to have everything done at the same time. And so we need to cut our veggies rather large. So go ahead, Nicole, translate, I guess.
Yeah, solo para decirles, no voy a estar traduciendo todo, como las conversaciones que tienen entre ellos, no voy a estar traduciendo. Lo que sí voy a estar traduciendo es los pasos para hacer la receta. Pero ya, entonces ella dijo que lo primero que hay que hacer es preparar los vegetales y que como la meta es hacer todo o que todo se termine de hacer al mismo tiempo, va a querer cortar los vegetales en pedazos grandes y gruesos.
Okay, so if you're using Brussels sprouts, all you're going to do is cut the stems off of them and make sure they look pretty, okay? That's it. Whole Brussels sprouts are going right on my sheet.
Entonces, si está usando los coles de Bruselas, lo único que va a querer hacer con ellos es cortarles el tallo o la punta y va a poner los coles de Bruselas entero en la bandeja.
Okay, then for broccoli and cauliflower, it's going to be exactly the same thing. So no matter which one of those two you have, we're going to cut them in very large pieces.
Entonces, con el brócoli y el coliflor también vamos a hacer lo mismo. No importa cuál es el que use, pero vamos a querer cortarlos en pedazos grandes también.
So if you cut the bottom off of the broccoli, you're going to easily see the florets. They'll be exposed, like pretty easy. So.
Entonces, si le corta el tallo, like abajo del brócoli, va a poder ver las floretas, los floretes del brócoli o del coliflor muy bien y fácilmente.
And you're just gonna, with your hands, this is the easiest way, is just to rip the florets where they naturally want to break.
Yeah. Y lo que va a hacer es jalar las floretas o los floretes del brócoli o de coliflor, jalarlo con un poco de fuerza y naturalmente se va a partir donde se tiene que partir.
In the center, it's really big, so I'm just going to cut that one down the middle.
Y el centro está muy grande, entonces lo que está haciendo es cortarlo a la mitad.
Okay. So these are going to go on the cookie sheet. And like I said, it's the same thing, broccoli and cauliflower, exact same way.
Okay, va a poner esas en la bandeja y como dijo, el brócoli y el coliflor, la coliflor, el modo de que lo va a hacer es igual.
Is anybody using mushrooms? No, I'm using mushrooms, so I'm going to tell you how to do them. To cook in this amount of time, we're going to leave them pretty much whole, and we're just going to trim off the ends because mushrooms are fully made of water, and so these are going to shrink down a lot. So we're just going to cut off the ends in order to get them to cook in the same time.
Si está usando hongos, los va a querer dejar enteros porque están hechos de completamente agua, de solamente agua, y se van a poner chiquitos en el horno. Entonces solo córtele un pedazo pequeño del tallo.
Okay. If you do have ones that are huge and ones that are small, you can even that up a little bit, but mostly leaving them whole. Mushrooms, I think the longer they cook, the better they get. And so I'm not worried at all about mushrooms overcooking. It's pretty tough.
Entonces, si tiene hongos de diferentes tamaños, lo que puede hacer es cortar los hongos grandes para que estén del mismo tamaño de los chiquitos. Y ella cree que el más tiempo que, lo más que se hagan los hongos, lo mejor que salen. Es difícil a que se endurezcan o que se pongan firmes en el horno.
I understood so much of what you just said, Nicole.
Oh, did you?
I said it first, but I just want to say a lot of those words I understood, which was great. Okay, so as I mentioned many times before, is that you just need a single layer of something, right? And so this sheet tray, in my opinion, is full. Now, here's the thing. So, Nicole, go ahead and say that part. Single layer.
Entonces, como ya he mencionado varias veces, solo necesita solo llenarlo para que quede así plano. No tiene que echar mucho. Y en su opinión, la cantidad que tiene ahí en la bandeja es suficiente y que está lleno.
So, crowding a pan, as you know, is a surefire way to not end up with brown, delicious food.
Entonces, si le echa mucho vegetal a la bandeja, puede causar que no se haga bien en algunas partes o que no se horneen bien.
Okay, so if you have 2 baking sheets, but you still want this many vegetables, you can use 2 baking sheets. It's better to use 2 baking sheets and not overcrowd your pan rather than one and just make everything steamed.
Entonces, si quiere usar, o si tiene dos bandejas y las quiere usar, es mejor usar dos que poner muchos vegetales en una, porque eso puede causar de que en vez de que se horneen bien, todo salga un poco. Like, what would you say, like, would be the outcome if you, like, overcrowd it? Like, just
you
mushy?
just end up with mushy stuff that doesn't get browned and crispy.
Yeah. Okay, entonces si echa muchos vegetales en una bandeja, lo que puede pasar es que al fin cuando ya lo saque y se lo coma, puede estar muy blandito y la textura no va a estar firme y el sabor no va a estar delicioso.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just putting some whole garlic cloves in there as well because I want the flavor. I'm not mincing it. I'm essentially just smashing it and throwing them on the pan without the skin. So just for flavor.
Yeah. Entonces, ella está usando dientes de ajo entero. No lo va a cortar en pedacitos o no lo va a moler porque solo quiere el sabor. No lo quiere incorporar en la receta, entonces solo le está quitando la cáscara del ajo, de los dientes de ajo.
Okay, I'm just getting rid of my garbage here in the compost. Okay. So everybody, your oven should be preheated. And now let's talk about protein. So are most people using chicken or shrimp or fish? Is that mostly what we've got? Yes, I figured you're using shrimp, Kathy. Kathy, are you using fish or shrimp?
Salmon.
Salmon. Okay, good. About 1-inch thick fillets with skin?
No, they're not very thick. Maybe 1/2 inch with skin.
Okay, so you're probably only going to need 6-minute cook time on that.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain. So I chose proteins that are going to, or I chose the protein that's going to be done at the exact same time as my veggies. But if you chose, and on your recipe that I'm sending you, it's going to fully explain this, but shrimp and fish take a lot less time. Yeah, Carla. You're muted.
Okay. I have 3 veggies and 2 proteins and not nearly enough room.
Okay.
And I only have 2 pans. However, one of my teenagers TikToked something on one and ruined it. So I'm down to 1 pan.
Okay. What else do you have that you can cook in?
That's what I was going to say. How awful would it be if I used like a glass casserole dish just to
Not bad at all.
I can
Not
just
bad
kind
at
of, okay.
Absolutely.
We've got that. Or like Corningware type.
Yeah, that's great. I'd rather you use 2 pans, whatever they might be, instead of 1. So if you're cooking for a lot of people, there's no doubt you're not going to be able to fit everything on a small pan, right? And so what we're going to spread it out. Like my veggies have taken up a full tray. So I'm going to use a second one for my proteins, right? That's okay. That is okay. It's still going to be very little mess. I'd rather you do that than overcrowd a pan where everything just ends up kind of mushy and kind of not great. So does anyone else have a question about the number of pans or whatever else?
Do I line the glass pan same way?
Yeah, I would.
And
yeah,
my other pan is stoneware. Do I line that?
I line everything typically.
Okay.
But that's just me. You don't have to. I just like to, avoid some of that baking on of goodies, and parchment stops stuff from sticking.
So if I'm doing 2 pans, does it matter what I put on each, or should I do like the proteins on one, the veggies on another?
Which proteins did you choose?
Shrimp and the awful chicken breasts.
Okay. Your shrimp, what I recommend is that you cook your chicken separate. Bless you, Nicole.
Thank you.
I recommend that you cook your shrimp separate because your shrimp are only going to take 6 minutes perhaps to cook.
Okay.
And you don't want that floating around with raw chicken juice, right?
Okay.
So you're
I have Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and sweet potatoes.
Great. Those will all have the same cook time. So for your sweet potatoes, is anybody else using potatoes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
If you have small potatoes like the baby ones, right? You're just gonna cut them in half. If you have, is anyone using large potatoes? Sweet potatoes are one of those, that's probably large. Let me see, you cut them in like big chunks?
They're like circles.
Those are a little bit thin, but they should still be okay. I would do like chunks like 3/4 of an inch if I were cutting circles of potato, because we don't want them to get overcooked, right? So your potatoes are gonna be in big chunks. Baby potatoes, you can just cut right in half, okay? The other ones you can cut in rounds that are about 3/4 of an inch, okay?
Okay, but am I doing the chicken with the veggies?
No, you're doing your veggies separate because you're gonna also be
Okay.
doing shrimp and you've only got 2 trays.
So I'm doing my chicken at one time, and then when that all comes out, the shrimp.
No, you're gonna do it in the oven at the same time. You're just using 2 trays.
Right, but I thought you said I'm doing the shrimp separately.
No, the shrimp is going to be added onto the vegetables
Okay.
just before they're done, because you only need 6 minutes or so for your shrimp. So
Okay,
you're just gonna add those on just 6 minutes or so before those veggies are done.
okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And that's all explained in your instructions. Yes, Catherine, those green onions look perfect.
Leave them that long?
I would leave them whole.
Okay, can I jump in here? I have a question.
Yes.
I got Portobello mushrooms.
Uh-huh.
How you say it?
Yeah.
And they're probably about a little more than ½ inch thick.
Okay.
Is that too thin? Would that be too thin?
Are they sliced or the big ones that are?
No, they were already pre-sliced.
Just
So-
throw them on. No, they'll be fine. Just throw them in.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're gonna do when you have whatever you're putting on one tray together, we're gonna coat with olive oil, salt, and pepper. You need enough olive oil to coat. So Nicole, can you start translating again?
Yeah, I'm gonna start from like what you said before, the questions about the protein having the same cook time.
Perfect.
Yeah, so ella escogió una proteína que tenga el mismo tiempo de cocción, que dure el mismo tiempo para cocinarse y hacerse que las verduras. Si escogió pescado o camarón, esos necesitan menos tiempo en el horno. Entonces, si va a usar camarón o pescado, va a querer esperar hasta que ya casi se terminen de hacer los vegetales. Pero si quieren usar o tienen otra bandeja, úsenla para la proteína y van a meter las 2 bandejas al mismo tiempo. And what did you say about the olive oil and salt and pepper?
So what I did was I poured enough olive oil on, several tablespoons, cucharas.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I did a nice liberal sprinkling of salt. So everything should get salt, everything should get pepper. And what I'm doing is I am rubbing that olive oil, salt, and pepper into all those veggies, okay? So we're only working with the veggies right now.
Ok, y ahorita solo para los vegetales, va a usar aceite de oliva, sal y pimienta black pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, y pimienta negra. Y lo que va a hacer es echarle suficiente aceite de oliva para que cubra todos los vegetales. También la sal y la pimienta negra, porque va a querer que todos los vegetales en la bandeja tenga suficiente para darle ese sabor. Y ahorita lo que está haciendo es está mezclando los vegetales, asegurándose de que tengan sal y pimienta negra y aceite de oliva.
Perfect. And so as long as you've rubbed everything in, because you want, especially with broccoli and cauliflower, you really want to make sure that you've oiled the tops well so they don't burn, okay?
Y entonces con la coliflor y el brócoli va a querer asegurarse de que tengan aceite de oliva, porque sin suficiente aceite de oliva no se van a hacer muy bien, no se van a quedar un poco duro y no van a tener un sabor, el sabor que quiere.
Perfect.
Yeah, I said that you wouldn't, without like enough olive oil, it wouldn't get like the flavor you want, and it would also stay firm.
Yeah,
Right?
that's okay. We just don't want it to burn, and the olive oil, so it prevents burning. It does give it flavor, and it gives something for the seasoning to stick to. So we really rub it in. Remember, when we're cooking inexpensively with not a ton of ingredients, we have to really give every ingredient the attention and love it deserves to maximize the flavor.
Okay. Y el aceite de oliva, lo que dijo, es que ayuda, si lo frota bien en las verduras, ayuda a que la sal y pimienta negra se adhieren al vegetal, les da el sabor y no deja que se quemen los vegetales en el horno. Y dice que si tiene un presupuesto bajo para la comida, entonces lo que quiere hacer es ponerle atención y cariño a los vegetales para asegurarse de que sean comestibles al final.
So I have put my chicken on the sheet tray right here, and I have 4 very large thighs. I found ones with bones, but they also have the skin, and I did check the cooking time and they will be fine. So I'm going to do the same olive oil treatment on my protein. If anyone has any questions, please interrupt, because these choose your own adventure classes, sort of everybody has something different. And so I need to know what protein you're using. If you're not using chicken right now, tell me what you're doing if we've not already discussed. Because I know Melanie, she often said that she would do like sausage and potatoes, if I remember right. And so I want to hear from you all sort of with what you're using. That way I can give you the best info. And if nobody has anything different to say, what we're doing is we're coating in olive oil, salt, and pepper once again, okay? So remember, you're not going to put salmonella hams in your salt or anything like that. So you're going to go ahead and wash your hands if you've touched raw chicken before you dig into your salt and your pepper.
I've got tofu.
You've got what?
Tofu.
Tofu. Who said that? Oh, Judy. That's my mother-in-law, everybody. Yeah, you're going to do the same exact thing. Shrimp and fish are the only things that take very quick. Did you get firm tofu?
I think so.
Ah, beautiful. So firm tofu will take about as long as all the veggies to cook. So that you're going to coat it really, really well. And you're going to cut it in big 1-inch cubes, okay?
Okay.
So 1-inch cubes are big, fat, like flat steaks. That's how you're going to do the tofu. Did you pat it dry?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I was going to do tofu, but I'm the only one who eats it.
Entonces ella tiene 4 muslos de pollo grande y chequeó el tiempo que necesita para hacerse bien, y con las verduras está bien. Entonces lo que van a hacer con el pollo o con la proteína que escojan es van a usar aceite de oliva, sal y pimienta negra también. También mencionó que si cortan el pollo o tocan el pollo, que se laven bien las manos, que no toquen la sal con sus manos si no se las ha lavado, porque eso puede causar enfermedades y puede ser peligroso también. Entonces, por favor.
Wash our hands a lot. Half of cooking is washing hands. Lava los manos.
Yes.
Right, Nicole?
Yes.
Lava los manos.
Yes.
Okay. So my chicken is coated with olive oil, salt, and pepper. And if you do have skin on chicken, remember to put that skin side up, okay? So your chicken, the skin will be facing up, right? Just like this. Whoop.
Entonces, si están usando pollo, asegúrense de que la piel quede para arriba. I only got the skin. What was the first thing you said?
inside up so it gets crispy. That's the important part.
Ok, sí, para que se haga bien. Y también asegúrese de que tenga suficiente aceite de oliva, sal y pimienta, pimienta negra.
Okay, I'm putting mine in the oven right now and I'm setting my timer for 20 minutes. It does, if you've got 2 trays, it doesn't matter which one is on top and which one is on bottom, because halfway through we're going to rotate them. So it doesn't matter, okay? But I'm here to answer all of your questions. So please let me know what's going on with you all right now. Where's my vegetables? There they are.
Entonces, ya va a meter las bandejas al horno y va a poner, los va a dejar ahí adentro por 20 minutos. Si tiene 2 bandejas, no importa cuál es la que vaya arriba o encima, porque luego, mientras que se esté haciendo, le va a dar vuelta a las bandejas.
Okay, how's everybody doing? I know we've got a lot. Carla, I definitely want to check on you. Kathy, you're good. So let me repeat one more time. Okay, so if you chose anything on the list besides shrimp or fish, everything should be approximately 35 to 40-minute cook time, right? But because some of our friends do not like those proteins that have that long cooking time and want to do something, like I knew Kathy would probably do some sort of fish. And so you can do those with a sheet pan supper. You just have to time it appropriately to know when to add those things. So Nicole, you want to break that down?
Yeah, so dependiendo de la proteína que escoja, menos el camarón y el pescado, lo demás en aproximadamente más o menos 35 o 40 minutos se hace o se cocina. Entonces, dependiendo en sus preferencias, si quieren algo que sea rápido o la proteína que quiera, que escoja, va a tener que calcular bien el tiempo para luego meter los camarones o pescado.
Perfect. So it just takes a little bit of vigilance, right? You're gonna know, okay, my veggies, and this is part of learning how to cook rather than how to just follow a recipe, right? It's how do you know when your broccoli is about 6 minutes from when you'd like it, right? It's feeling and it's smelling and it's looking and it's tasting. So these are the things that when you repeatedly cook with Uncomplicated Kitchen, these are the things that become innate knowledge. And this is the stuff that I feel is the most important. So do you want to translate any of that, Nicole?
Yeah, so lo que acabo de decir es que esto es aprender a cocinar más de poder seguir una receta. Y dijo que toma un poco de tiempo y se tiene que dedicar a poder aprender a cocinar porque luego para calcular el tiempo, eso puede causar la diferencia en lo que hace. I'm trying to explain and remember as well.
You're doing great.
Huh?
Yeah, it's tough. Me and Nicole do this a lot together.
It's great.
Yeah. And today I'm just it's a mental fog right now. But yeah, I said that.
Break next week. It's advising.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I told Carla the way to separate the food is because let's imagine, right, that we have put chicken on a tray, which takes 35 minutes to roast, right? But she also had that shrimp and put them on at the same time. What's gonna happen is that the shrimp would be incredibly overcooked, but you can't really take them out of the pan because now they're swimming in unsafe raw chicken. Okay, so this is why we did not put her shrimp and chicken together at the same time. And instead it was better for us to add them to the vegetables when those vegetables were almost done. Salmonella is nothing to mess around with, and food safety is incredibly important. Nicole, go.
Yes. Okay. So, hace ratito le dijo a una de las participantes que está usando camarón, que en vez de camarón y pollo, que en vez de echar el pollo y el camarón encima de los vegetales, que solo echaran los camarones, porque si echaba el pollo y el camarón se iba a terminar de cocinar primero, pero el pollo todavía iba a necesitar más tiempo. Entonces que el camarón, como no lo podemos quitar porque está con el pollo que todavía está crudo y el pollo tiene salmonella, como ustedes saben, eso puede causar enfermedades y eso no es algo para tomar ligero, es algo serio que sí puede causar enfermedades y posiblemente peor. Pero sí, entonces si va a usar camarón y pollo, asegúrese de poner el pollo en otra bandeja separado de los vegetales y el camarón, porque si no, entonces el camarón se va a poner duro y no va a tener la textura que quiera. Y sí.
Yep, that sounds good to me. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or what ingredients are okay to put together? And remember, I know that in the beginning, some of this stuff is going to seem really intimidating, but like I said, like I'm sure Kathy and Mia, who've been cooking now with us for over 2 years, this in the beginning might have been a bit confusing, right? But now, does it make sense to you after really learning how food works?
Yep.
Hey,
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's a big deal. Mia, were you
I have a question.
Yes.
It's kind of a more general question, but basically, how do you decide which ingredients would either cook well together or would just taste good together? And I would also be interested in hearing what you have to say about using seasonal ingredients and what seasonal ingredients might go well together.
So my dish is entirely based on seasonal ingredients right now. I have chosen things that in our region, we can get fresh right now and local-ish if possible. So brassicas, things like those cruciferous vegetables. So like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Greens are very seasonal right now, but please don't put those on a sheet pan dinner. You're gonna have burned up greens in no time. They don't belong here. If you want greens, you cook them separately, okay? So as far as seasonal, Melanie, that's what I've chosen, because seasonal for a region is often what looks the best, is the freshest, and I think retains more of that nutritional value rather than stuff that's been shipped really far. Nicole, do you want to explain that part about seasonal is just better?
Yeah. Ella acaba de hablar sobre las verduras que están en temporada, que en su opinión son mejor. Y también mencionó que se usa hojas o verduras verdes como col rizado que va a tener, que se pueden quemar en el horno. That is all I got from that. That you think seasonal is better, and that if you use like green leaves, they would burn up.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you would like me to reiterate?
Well, if you eat seasonal, a lot of times you can get it fresher at a better price because it's not out of season and being shipped from halfway across the world, right? And often that stuff will have more nutritional value because it's been, you know, picked a lot of times when it should be. Instead of like tomatoes being picked green and then being shipped. There's just multiple reasons to eat with the seasons.
Yeah. Y también acaba de explicar que las verduras o vegetales que están en temporada son más frescas y entonces ofrecen más nutrientes porque en vez de que, como por ejemplo los tomates, en vez de cosecharlos o mental fog. En vez de mandarlos o venderlos cuando ya están, o antes de que estén maduros y bien, lo hacen antes de que deberían y luego los mandan y los venden y entonces no tienen los mismos nutrientes que tienen unos que esperan para hacerlo. Y también suelen ser más baratos esas verduras porque están en temporada y no es que estén llegando de otro estado. Y sí.
Okay, and then Melanie, you asked about how you know what will, so tasting good together is entirely different from what cooked good together. Taste is entirely up to you. You know, that is entirely personal preference. So that's for taste, right? I can coach you on what I think is delicious. Nicole, people are giving you love. I love to see
I know.
that. I love Nicole. I hug her. I hug Nicole. I love her so much. So what tastes good is up to you. What cooks good, Melanie, that's practice, right? So I really thought about what had similar cook times, right? Because I've roasted Brussels sprouts a million times. I've roasted broccoli and cauliflower a million times. So what I can tell you is that picking foods with similar densities and cutting them in similar sizes is important. So do you want to say that, Nicole?
Ya, entonces una de las participantes acaba de preguntar que cómo se puede saber lo que se cocina bien junto, lo que sí se puede combinar versus lo que no va tan bien juntos. Y Jen acaba de explicar que el sabor que usted o sus preferencias es lo que puede influir lo que usted escoja, pero lo más importante en eso es escoger vegetales o verduras que tengan la misma densidad, o sea, que se puedan hacer al mismo tiempo en el horno para esta receta más específicamente.
Yes. So I am gathering a lot of what you're saying, which makes me very happy.
Yeah.
My studies are paying off.
Yeah. Also fact check me too if I don't say something correctly.
You're learning all about cooking. Look at this.
I never cooked.
So picking things that will cook well together is different than what tastes good together. And so the things that I offered as suggestions on your list are things that will go together. So you can pick and choose from that list. Now, if we did this class, we could do a summertime sheet pan dinner, right? And I guarantee you every vegetable will be different on my summertime list, right? It'll be things like peppers, tomatoes, summer squashes. And let me tell you, those things cook pretty darn fast. And so the summer sheet pan dinner, that would be a good time to use like smaller cuts of chicken. Shrimp would be, you know, much more aligned with some of those cook times or denser cuts of fish. So really it's about practice and just by doing, right? We're learning by doing. And that's why I love when people come and cook with me like all the time, is because this knowledge is now innate for them. And that's really awesome. So it's just learning by doing. And I'm always happy to help you along the way, but these are the kind of things that I think are really important to just do, right? What's going to happen if you take out your veggies now and they're undercooked? Big deal. You put them back in, right? If they burn on the outside, you probably know that you didn't add enough olive oil or you didn't toss them, right? And so these are things that'll become knowledge that you have, and then you can apply them to other situations. Does anyone else have any other questions about their choices of things, what their kitchens might smell like right now? Any questions? Yes, Carla.
I was able to put both of my pans on the same rack, but do I need to swap them for any reason? Because you said maybe switching.
Cook time, we're still going to swap them. So it's essentially going to go front to back, and you're going to switch their positions, right?
So not like, so basically whatever's in the back is going to now be in the front.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You're going to rotate it in whatever way you possibly can to get the heat, to give each that same,
Definitely.
yeah.
Okay.
'Cause not every oven is exactly even. We know they're not. Does anyone else have another question right now? Kathy?
Jenna, is the fish supposed to be in the oven?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope. I'm going to let you know. You're
Okay.
going to need to put your fish in essentially 3/4 of the way through the total cooking time. So when
Okay.
you've got 10 minutes to go, you're going to have to pull out whichever sheet tray you're putting them on, and you're going to lay that fish. But you still are going to need to salt and pepper and olive oil your fish. Okay. Nicole, do you think we should translate any of that? I don't really.
I think what you were talking about, like the difference between preference and what goes well together. And then also that in the recipes you provide, everything that you list goes well together, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Your recipe that I'm going to send you has a lot of info, including safe cooking temperatures for food. Okay. Because I felt like we could be messing around with some undercooked stuff in this class. And I wanted to really drive it home that that's not okay or safe. And so I've included on the second page of your recipe a chart from foodsafety.gov that you can refer to.
Entonces, ella habló sobre la diferencia en la combinación de vegetales que sabe bien y la combinación de vegetales que que se pueden cocinar al mismo tiempo o que tienen un tiempo de cocción similar. Y lo que las listas o recetas que ella da, va a tener verduras o vegetales que que no solamente saben buenas juntas, pero también que tienen tiempos de cocción similares. Y eso puede hacer la diferencia. Con esa receta, ella también dio una lista de temperaturas que ciertas comidas tienen que tener para que uno no se enferme, porque eso puede ser muy importante y algo que puede causar varios problemas, especialmente el pescado, el pollo. Entonces, que es importante saber esa información para prevenir accidentes posibles.
That's right. Accidents are possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are not going to have any of those today. That's what you said, right? Accidents could happen.
Yeah, like possible accidents with not having proper temperatures.
Yeah.
Or adequate temperatures.
That. Y'all know that Uncomplicated Kitchen classes are 99% vegetarian. So we don't often mess around with things that could be undercooked, cross-contamination, things that can make us and our loved ones sick. But when we do cook the occasional meat product, I really want y'all to be safe, okay? I don't care how many waivers you sign, like I still feel responsible for you having this knowledge, okay? And so I want to give y'all a bonus lesson really quick. We have a couple minutes till our stuff needs to come out, but after that, I want to talk really quick about how to, if you're not having any starches with this dish and you'd like to, I want to tell you how I make rice really, really fast, because that's what we're going to have with our chicken today. We're going to use our Instant Pot. And so I can give you a quick bonus lesson on, and Carla, we're doing a bonus Instant Pot lesson, okay? This may or may not be just for you today. Okay? Throwing it in.
I do now own one. I have no idea how to use it, but someone gifted it to me. You said you're making rice? I don't think I have any rice.
It's okay. You're going to learn how to. It's going to be the easiest thing. It'll be like, it's going to commit to your memory in like 1 second. It's the easiest recipe you'll ever know. And my friends in this class that cook all the time with me, they know that Instant Pot rice recipe. It's like a joke. It's not even really a recipe. It's mostly just you press a button.
I only have yellow rice. Would that work?
Yellow rice, like the packets of yellow rice.
Yeah, like that where it has a seasoning in it already.
No, that's delicious. I used to eat those all the time. So I'm willing to bet that those would work. because it is a white rice with seasoning. I am 99.9% sure that I would even try it in my own Instant Pot, but I don't want you to ruin your rice, even though it's just mixed up white rice is all it is. So I'm willing to bet that would still apply. So as soon as we turn our veggies, I'm gonna talk to you about how to make rice really quick.
Wait, did we decide not to do yellow in the Instant Pot? Just don't do yellow? Is that what we said?
Don't want you to
It's fine.
ruin your rice because it's such a small amount that I'm afraid it would burn.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a small packet.
okay.
I
understand.
wouldn't
Okay.
chance it for your first time, even though
Let's not.
I would chance it.
No,
but
I
don't
won't.
wanna- I don't want to not have you love your Instant Pot.
Yeah. No,
You're
we're already barely friends.
You will be best friends. You will give it a name when all this is over. Okay, so my timer is going to go off any second, so I'm going to spare you the sound.
The only kind of friend Jenna is a best friend.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to take out our trays. So get a cooling rack, whatever it is that you use. We're going to take out our stuff and we're going to look.
Jenna, I'm 4 minutes behind you.
Okay, so don't do it yet.
So wait.
Yep, wait. So my chicken is looking good. I've got skin starting to crisp up. Nothing is burning. I've got some beautiful rendered chicken fat on here, which will be delicious seasoning our rice. This is good stuff, y'all. Rendered chicken fat is magical, and in the Jewish culture and a lot of Eastern European, I think, people use this, like how people use bacon grease, right? In the South, people love their bacon grease. Chicken fat is like my Jewish grandma's equivalent of bacon grease. This stuff is gold. So don't get rid of it. It can be used just like bacon grease. So this is fine. I'm gonna check my veggies too. Yeah, I know that smells good, doesn't it, buddy? My dog is like, what's happening?
Yeah, so dice que su pollo quedó, se ve súper bien y crujiente, y que también hay un poquito de jugo que se puede usar más al rato para echarle a los vegetales o si hacen arroz.
I'm gonna move this over. Oh, that looks really good, everybody. So look, these veggies are really starting to look absolutely gorgeous, okay? Nothing is burning. Browning is not burning, okay? There is a fine line, but we've not crossed over. And that garlic smells amazing. So I'm gonna just toss these around really quick.
Yeah, so dice que los vegetales se ven súper bien y deliciosos, y que solo porque estén un poco café no significa que se estén quemando, que hay una diferencia entre que estén café y que se estén quemando. Y ahorita lo que está haciendo está revolviendo los vegetales, y también dijo que el ajo huele súper bien.
Yes, the garlic does smell good. I love it. And so I'm just tossing this around. Now, if you do notice that you've like the ends of your broccoli florets are charred and black, you know what? It's okay. That honestly does not taste bad to me, but you might just need a little bit more olive oil. I always say the only thing you can't fix is burned garlic.
Why is
So,
that?
tossing around, and it's all going to go right back in the oven, and I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Nicole, do you want to say any of that?
Yeah. So ahorita lo que está haciendo está mezclando los vegetales, y dijo que si nota que a un pedazo de brócoli o de coliflor, si la está usando, o cualquier verdura, que si está un poco quemada, que para ella eso no le sabe mal, pero que eso solo significa que no usó suficiente aceite de oliva. Entonces para la próxima vez que use un poco más. Y you're gonna put it in for another 20?
Yes, I'm going to put mine in because everything of mine has the exact same cook time. Friends, using chicken or shrimp or fish, you're gonna set your timer for only 10 minutes, okay? And I'm gonna rotate my pans, by the way. So whatever level, I use 2 racks. So I'm gonna switch racks and turn them around, right? I'm gonna rotate if I need to, okay?
Right, question. Did you already do like the oregano and like honey and red wine vinegar and all that?
We're gonna make the vinaigrette and worry about the rice as soon as this goes back in the oven.
Okay.
Ya, entonces lo que va a hacer es poner las 2 bandejas en el horno por otros 20 minutos. Y si está usando camarón o pescado, que solo lo deje en el horno por 10 minutos. Y ok, ya, va a querer cambiar las bandejas de las rejillas del horno. Entonces, si tenía los vegetales encima y el pollo abajo, va a querer cambiarlos para que se hagan bien.
Great. Okay.
I'm sorry, can I ask another question?
Of course you can. That's why we're here.
Did you say ours is an extra 10 or 20?
You're gonna do, if you have to add other things, you're gonna shoot for 10 minutes right now. Okay, just
Okay,
so
so I still need to add my shrimp. So I'll do 10
you're
now.
not doing it yet. You're not doing it yet. You're not adding your shrimp. That's why you're setting your timer for 10 minutes to
Okay.
remind you that it's time to add your shrimp.
Okay.
Cool. Same thing with fish.
Ok, acaba de explicar que si va a usar camarón o pescado, que meta los vegetales otra vez por 20 minutos, pero que cuando le queden 10 minutos a los vegetales, que puede echarle los camarones o el pescado encima, porque solo necesitan un poco de tiempo en el horno para hacerse bien.
Okay. We're going to talk real fast about how to make rice in an Instant Pot because I absolutely want chicken rice and Brussels sprouts tonight. That sounds amazing.
Jenna,
Yeah.
I need to catch up with you. I stirred the vegetables, turned them around and put them on the other rack, correct?
There you go. Perfect.
In the oven. What about the chicken?
You're not going to flip your chicken.
Just
Skin
gonna put
side
it-
staying up.
Just put it on the top of the rack and turn it
Yep.
around. Got it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, for my friends that have an Instant Pot or are curious about getting one, rice has never been so easy or perfect. So I'm using a basic white rice today. It's the quickest cooking, and so we're gonna go for that. So in whatever measuring cup you want, you can pour however much you want. I'm going for 2 cups of rice because we really like rice in my house. Okay, so 2 cups of rice, and it's gonna go right into the bowl of your Instant Pot.
Entonces ahorita lo que está haciendo es que va a hacer arroz en una olla de presión eléctrica o un Instant Pot, y está usando el arroz blanco porque ese se hace rápidamente, no necesita mucho tiempo.
Yes, exactly. I cannot believe I'm like talking so I could see like how much I was getting without my prior explanation, but nonetheless, good job, Nicole. You've taught me a lot. So, whatever you measured your rice in is the exact same vessel you're going to put your water in. A lot of times we use dry measuring cups and liquid measuring cups for things. With this recipe, you don't need to do that. Same exact thing. It could be a shoe or a wine glass or a vase. As long as you're doing the exact same quantity of rice to water, it's going to work out. So,
entonces, puede usar la cantidad de arroz que quiera. Ella va a usar 2 tazas y para el agua va a querer usar la misma taza medidora para que sean de la misma medida, más o menos. Entonces, si usa 2 tazas de arroz, use 2 tazas de agua, usando la misma taza medidora.
So I did 2 cups of rice, white rice, 2 cups of water, and a big pinch of salt.
Y échale sal. generosamente.
I'm going to put on my lid and I'm going to set it to pressure cook for 4 minutes.
Y con la olla instantánea o olla de presión eléctrica, le va a poner 4 minutos.
And all right. So you're going to make sure that the lid is sealed, right? You're going to make sure that it's not on venting, but it's on sealed. And after that 4 minutes is up, you're going to let the pressure come down naturally because we're pressure cooking this rice. So you don't want to force the pressure release. You want it to come down on its own. You're going to open it up, fluff it with a fork, and your rice is done. Never been easier. Okay, Carla, you here? Best
What do you
rice
mean
ever.
by letting the pressure? I've never used a pressure pot
Okay,
or
so
instant pot.
pressure cooking is amazing because it raises the boiling point that's possible. So like boiling point normally is 212 degrees. In a pressure cooker, it goes way higher than that. I don't remember the number, but it traps in, right? It builds pressure and therefore things cook so much quicker. You could make a flavorful soup or a chicken stock or anything in a fraction of the time because it is, I mean, it's an intense cooking environment. So it's just, we're building pressure and that's why it's called pressure cooking.
Ok, so acabo de explicar cómo es que la olla de presión eléctrica o olla instantánea funciona. Después de esa explicación, todavía no entiendo muy bien, pero básicamente lo que hace es hacer las comidas o cocinar las comidas rápidamente. Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to make brown rice, instead of 4 minutes, you set it to 24 minutes. And that's why we're not doing brown rice today. We do brown rice a lot in my house. But that does take longer. If I would have started that before class, 24 minutes would have been easily attainable. But I'm hungry and that extra 20 minutes means a lot when you have a starving child and a husband that just wants dinner and move on with our evening. So that's the only difference. Same exact way, just 20 more minutes and that's it. So I'm gonna put my rice back.
So it would be like 24 minutes for the brown rice?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Entonces, si quiere usar arroz integral o arroz café, va a querer, si está usando la olla de presión eléctrica, le va a querer poner 24 minutos en vez de 4, solo porque toma un poco más tiempo para hacerlo bien o cocerlo bien.
Okay, so who's ready to make a dressing? Are we ready to make this vinaigrette that we're gonna pour over the top? Yes? Okay, so we need I'm using a lidded jar because I just like to shake it instead of worrying about a whisk and a bowl because it's also the extra dressing is gonna store in this jar, so less dishes.
Entonces ahora va a ser el aderezo y ella está usando un frasco con una lata para evitar tener que limpiar más platos, pero también es más fácil hacerlo así.
So I'm gonna do a lemon vinaigrette. You can choose, honestly, any kind of vinegar you want. So you need olive oil and your vinegar, and those things were all on that bottom of the sheet. So we're gonna use 2/3 of a cup of olive oil.
Okay, I'm gonna probably need a bit more direction than he just said. So
Yeah.
I tend to not love lemony stuff,
Okay.
but I like red wine vinegar
Do it.
stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not using all of them, right?
You could do both. You could
I've
cut
never
them.
made a dressing before, so I have no idea.
Do me a favor, in your jar, 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. We're gonna get you there. It's gonna be the easiest thing.
Entonces va a ser una vinagreta de limón y va a usar 2/3 de una taza de aceite de oliva. Va a usar vinagre también y aquí en la receta dice 1/3 taza de vinagre rojo o de vino tinto.
party until Jenna sets off the smoke alarm in the house.
Oh no.
Hang on. Oh boy. I think we're good. I think we're good now. Okay, so 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. For me, I'm using lemon because wintertime makes me want lemon. Because I am from Florida and lemons are like amazing this time of year. So you're gonna use, if you want vinegar, you're gonna use 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. Okay. And that's approximately the amount of lemon I'm gonna have.
Ya, so ella está usando un limón amarillo porque a ella le gusta ese sabor, pero no necesariamente lo tiene que usar. Si no quiere, y va a usar 1/3 de taza de el vinagre.
So 2/3 of a cup, and I wrote this on your recipe, Carla, the one you're gonna get tomorrow or tonight. So you're gonna have all these ratios worked out. Catherine, what you got?
You're doing either lemon or vinegar,
Or you can combine both. I've done that too.
a whole lemon though?
Yes, I'm doing a whole lemon because that's about 1/3 of a cup.
Okay, thanks.
You're
Entonces, si
welcome.
quiere, puede usar el limón amarillo o el vinagre, o si quiere, puede usar los dos y combinarlos así, pero va a ser un limón entero.
I'm just taking out the
Y va a
pits.
exprimirlo. Sorry.
They're coming out. So once you've got your oil and vinegar or lemon or a combination, let me know and we'll add the other ingredients. One more, come on. Okay. Okay. Is everyone ready to move on to the next ingredient?
Not quite,
Okay.
almost.
My oven just went off for my 10 minutes.
So what you're gonna do, if your oven is ready, Carla, take out your stuff and add your shrimp and we'll wait for you, okay?
Okay.
Did you toss your shrimp still with the olive oil, salt and pepper?
No.
Yep, just go ahead and coat that a little bit and throw it on top of your veggies. We're doing good, everybody.
Jenna,
Yeah.
several years ago, one of the best roasted dinners I ever had was, well, actually at Bear Lake, and they had beets and carrots, and I can't remember everything else, but it was just like, and I've tried several times to just copy that.
Uh-huh.
So I can just use the same kind of recipe. I probably didn't cook it enough, or maybe I cooked it at too low of a heat, but I like beets and carrots, and what else would go together in that same?
So what those all are root vegetables, and root vegetables are incredibly dense. They do not have a ton of water content, really. And so you're gonna wanna stick in the root vegetable family. So rutabaga, turnips would be good if you like turnips, things like that. So stick to root vegetables because they all have very similar cook times. Potatoes can even work in with that. I would do tiny potatoes and just keep them whole.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We do a lot of roasting beets in Uncomplicated Kitchen classes.
Well, I'll have to sign up for one.
Yeah, we've done one of our favorite classes. Kathy, I know, loved this one. We did a roasted beet salad with a beautiful balsamic vinaigrette.
Ooh.
It was great.
Are you ever going to do reruns?
You know what? We will do reruns, but we do riffs on reruns because I don't want the same people to always get the same exact class.
Yeah.
And so we would adjust it somehow. That was last winter we did that one.
Okay. All right.
That was good. Okay, so are we ready to go on with our dressing?
I think so.
Okay, next you're gonna add about
Oh, I'm sorry. How much? Do I do another 10 minutes?
Yeah, so yeah, 10 minutes, you should be good, Carla. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna add about 2 teaspoons of sweetener. I'm using agave nectar, but you can choose honey or sugar or whatever else. I just use agave because I really like it. It's neutral.
Entonces ahora vamos a echarle 2 cucharadas de endulzante. Ella está usando néctar de agave, pero también puede usar miel o azúcar.
And then 2 teaspoons of dried oregano.
Y 2 cucharaditas de orégano seco.
And a big fat teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half, depending on what you like, of kosher salt.
Y ahora va a usar una cucharadita a una cucharadita y media de sal, dependiendo su preferencia.
And however much black pepper you want. I recommend no more than a half teaspoon. I'm doing like a quarter of a teaspoon, but you can do up to a half.
Y ahora con la pimienta negra puede usar la cantidad que quiera, pero ella recomienda no usar más de media cucharadita.
And all you're gonna do is pop that lid on and shake.
Y ahora lo que va a hacer es, oops, sorry.
Carla, what's going on?
How much oregano?
About 2 teaspoons of dried oregano is perfect.
Ya, entonces ahora lo que va a hacer es tapar el frasco y agitarlo para que se mezcle y para que se combine bien los ingredientes.
And your dressing is done, okay? This is what is going to garnish the top of your food.
Y ya terminó haciendo el aderezo y eso es lo que va a usar para los vegetales y la proteína.
If you don't know what you like, because you said for salt, do it more. I don't know what I like. What's a safe?
My salt level. So what you should do always, if it's safe to taste and a dressing is absolutely safe to have, you know, it doesn't have to be cooked, taste it.
I just did. It tastes like honey.
So add more salt. Then you need to balance out your sweet with salt.
Yeah.
How much did
Entonces
you-
sí. Sorry.
I needed a little bit more too.
How much did you start with, Jenna?
About I would say under a teaspoon to start probably.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, now that I mix it, it just tastes like vinegar.
Did you put enough oil? Did you do that ratio?
I thought I did.
So adjust it. But what you're doing, so you're mixing it with a spoon, and so it's actually not incorporating. So put it in a jar and shake it.
I don't have a jar with a lid.
Do you have any container with a lid?
Yes.
Use any container because you're tasting it before it's really been mixed properly.
Okay.
That's why I always use a jar. It's like the easiest way.
Entonces, si el aderezo le sabe muy dulce, échele un poco más de sal y ahí puede ajustar el sabor. Y también mencionó que una de las participantes que le sabía más a vinagre que dulce o salado, entonces no usa una cuchara porque eso no va a incorporar los ingredientes bien, especialmente con el aceite. Usando una batidora de mano o un batidor sería mejor para mezclarlo bien y combinar bien los ingredientes juntos. Pero sí, entonces solo ajuste el aderezo a su preferencia.
So, getting out my cooling rack because our food will be done soon. We make so many dressings in our classes, and they will all follow this specific ratio. But, you know, of course, you have to adjust based on your taste. Yeah, there you go, Carla. Get it really, really mixed. I don't remember the last time I bought a dressing. Oh, yeah, I do, because I went to work one day and I didn't have my dressing. And I was really mad. And I bought a dressing and I was incredibly disappointed. It's so
Ooh, tangy.
inexpensive to make your own. So my timer is almost ready to go. Kathy, you added your shrimp or your chicken, whatever, right? I mean, your shrimp or fish. Perfect. So we should have delicious food in about 30 seconds. We'll see. Carla's a champ over there. Carla, let Kathy and Mia tell you what it was like when they first started doing this.
Oh, they did. I'm used to laughing at myself in the kitchen. This is not my comfort zone. My face just kind of always looks like, okay. Hey, babe,
Hi, greetings.
here.
They didn't get to cook with us because their
You can
groceries got delivered to the wrong house.
Oh, no.
Did you just sigh at me?
They can come to my house anytime.
Taste this.
Yeah.
I think it's weird. I don't.
Okay, so my timer's done, so I'm taking out my food.
Ok, la comida de ella ya está lista, entonces ya la va a sacar.
You go on.
Whoa! Ooh.
Oh, I wish we could have done this in class. Why did you choose this recipe this week?
Because it's too long. It's too long for the way we do our classes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Never mind.
You can
Jenna,
cook
if
with us
it's still-
anytime. Go ahead, Carla.
If it's still vinegary, like it pretty much just tastes like vinegar.
Did you measure your ratio?
I mean, I thought I did.
Sounds, can I see it? Can you hold it up?
So when I mushed it, it has like a raspberry color to it.
If you think it's too vinegary,
Mhm.
then add more oil.
Okay.
But
Well, I didn't add any salt.
you didn't add any salt.
No.
Oh, add your
That's-
salt.
I don't know how much.
Teaspoon and a half. Go for it. So my chicken is out. My veggies are out. And I am feeling like everything is perfectly cooked. My veggies are nice and browned and beautiful. I'm gonna hold this up. Can you see what my roasted veggies look like?
Entonces ella piensa que, o ella está satisfecha con cómo quedó sus vegetales, que se ven perfectas y tienen ese color cafecito, pero no están quemadas.
So my mushrooms are browned beautifully. My chicken skin right here is crispy. Okay, so I've got crispy chicken skin. There is no pink liquid coming out of the chicken, which means that it's cooked appropriately. But you can always use your meat thermometer to make sure that chicken is cooked to 165 degrees. Okay. Chicken should be 165. Beef is a little bit different. 145 is beef or pork chops. And yep. And I think that's the only one. And so for seafood, for any fish that has a fin, 145 degrees is what you're going for. But a lot of times people do it until it's just not see-through anymore, right? What's going on, Carla? What's the face?
Salt made it worse.
Okay, we need to make dressings together.
That's gross. It was
We need to
okay
make
before,
dressings
now it's not.
together.
Sí, eso acaba de decir que la piel de su pollo está crujiente y que no le está escurriendo ningún juguito, entonces que eso significa que está bien, pero que la temperatura del pollo debería de ser 165 grados, para carne de res y chuletas de puerco o de cerdo, 145 grados y también para el pescado, 145 grados, pero si tiene un termómetro, eso puede ser mejor y más, puede ser mejor usar el termómetro, pero con el pescado usualmente lo que hace la gente es asegurarse de que no sea transparente o que no se vea transparente el pescado.
Okay, how's everybody else's dressing besides Carla's? Good, Kathy. Judy, how's your dressing?
Good. Good. It turned out pretty good.
Delicioso.
Oh, good. Catherine, how's yours?
I hadn't had a chance to taste it. I had to go in the living room and plug my computer up.
Oh,
It's about
Wow.
dead. But I'll check it, but I have a couple of, what did you say about the juices with the chicken?
they should run clear, right? You shouldn't see any blood coming out of your chicken. But the safest way to check is always a meat thermometer, right? I think it's a good $10 investment. If you're not comfortable knowing when chicken is done, always use a meat thermometer.
You say 165?
Yeah, 165 is safe poultry temperature.
Okay.
I got one.
Yeah. Oh, Nicole. It's a
Haven't
good.
used it yet though.
It's a good.
Ya, pero para aclarar, no es que el pollo esté listo si ya no le sale juguito, es que no tenga sangre el juguito que esté saliendo del pollo. Entonces,
Okay.
con que no tenga sangre, ya está listo. Pero si quiere usar un termómetro, que la temperatura llegue a 165 grados, en la parte más gruesa del pollo, en el centro.
So, okay. What I always like to do is have everybody taste their food. Carla is wrestling with this vinaigrette. I see her. Carla, me and you are going to make dressing together. Don't give up. Dressing, if you follow this recipe, you should, with minor adjustment, to your personal taste, get it exactly the way you want it. But just know that dressing is not meant to be eaten on its own, right? Dressing will always taste over the top because you don't just eat dressing by itself, right? It's meant to be a bit too much of everything because it's going to be distributed either on greens or on other food like this, right?
That makes sense.
So I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead if their food is done. I want everybody to make a little plate of what they've made. And we're going to drizzle a little dressing over the top. And we are going to taste our food because class isn't over until everybody has tasted food.
Entonces le acaba de explicar a una de las participantes es que ella no está satisfecha con el aderezo que hizo. Dice que sabe mucho a vinagre, pero Jenna dijo que el aderezo es fuerte solo, pero que no se come así, que usualmente se usa con vegetales o alguna proteína y que el aderezo se supone que solo debe de saber o oler muy fuerte, pero que usualmente cuando lo combine con la comida, que la combinación de sabores va a saber bien. Y ahora lo que quiere que hagan es servirse un poco en un plato y echarle un poco del aderezo que hicieron y quiere que lo pruebe.
Okay, so I put a little bit of everything that I've made on my plate. And what I want to do is shake up my dressing and pour a little bit, just a drizzle on the top. Remember, the food we made is seasoned just with salt and pepper, right? Very, very simple. So that's why we're dressing it at the ends.
Yeah. Entonces, quiere que se sirva un poco de todo lo que acaba de cocinar y le va a echar un poco del aderezo porque el pollo y los vegetales solo tienen sal y pimienta y es por eso que van a esperar hasta el final para echarle el aderezo.
Okay.
That the reason that they're waiting until the end is because they only put salt and pepper on the vegetables.
We seasoned our food as we were cooking very simply because we were making this dressing. It's kind of a double lesson.
Ah, ok, ya, que como para el pollo y los vegetales solo usaron sal y pimienta, entonces algo muy simple que el aderezo le va a dar más sabor. Entonces que cuando esté preparando el pollo y las verduras, que no se preocupe mucho si no tiene muchas especies, spices.
Okay. So I want everybody, if they can, we turn on our cameras and we share a bite together. So that is important. So anyone who can, I'm ready to take a bite. We've made it. It is 7 o'clock, everybody. It is dinner time. I'm hungry.
It tastes so delicious.
Would you like some broccoli?
That is the most excited I've seen a little kid eat broccoli.
You want to hold this? Show Grandma Mission.
Josie,
That's Catherine. You remember? She used to come to our house. Okay, so what does everybody think? How did everything? You got it. You need to. What do you want to show? Oh, your eraser. Can you wait till I'm done? So what does everyone think that's taking a bite of their food with their vinaigrette?
tell you in a second.
Muy delicioso.
Oh,
I like it. It's really good once we mix it together.
Oh,
So what do I do now though? Like, how do I serve this? Do I put the chicken?
what I do is I just serve it like this and I have everybody get what they want. So like, I'm literally going to leave it like this and I'm going to tell my husband to grab a piece of chicken, whatever veggies he wants.
So do I just put the rest of the dressing all over everything? If
I would do it when people eat it, because if you add moisture to this, it's going to make everything soggy. Oh,
okay.
there's a husband hand right there. So I add dressing when we eat it, like
Okay.
just as you would do a salad, right?
Yeah.
But so this dressing, right, took something that was seasoned incredibly simple and elevated it. The acidity does something really nice. The sweetness does something really special. And the oil and the vinegar, they add just the right something to this otherwise really simple dish. So we kind of got some bonus lessons. And you know what? In just a couple of minutes, my Instant Pot's going to be ready to open and I'm also going to have rice. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Catherine.
I bought parchment paper once about 40 years ago, and it hung around so long, I either had to get rid of it or name it. So I must have gotten rid of it. So what's your case for parchment paper? I mean, I used it once and
Parchment
then
paper is a totally non-stick surface that's really, really easy to work with. We use parchment paper for the majority of things. When I made granola, parchment paper was what I used. I love parchment. It's my go-to. Foil, things stick to foil. Hold on, Josie, I gotta put you down, okay?
but as far as the quality of the food,
Parchment to me reigns supreme. Always, I've used parchment or nothing, to be honest, but nothing will stick to parchment. That's the beauty of it to me. Can I put you down, big girl?
Don't you also have to adjust the temperature if you're using foil, aluminum foil though?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Aluminum foil, things do stick to it though. Aluminum foil can be good for things, but I've never heard of changing the temperature based on foil. Okay, I got it down. I've never heard of changing the temperature based on foil, but what I have heard, and I know from experience, is that things do stick to it pretty easily. Anyone else have any questions about anything? I'm very satisfied with how this came out. Melanie, oh, Melanie left. I don't know where she went. I'm hoping her food came out good.
No sé si fue mencionado al principio, pero ella está usando papel de pergamino porque, o acaba de decir ahorita que es que nada se le queda o nada se le pega. Y si usa papel de aluminio, puede ser que se le pegue algunas cosas. pero que el papel pergamino es mejor para hornear las cosas.
Anyone else have any questions? I've not heard from my mother-in-law, Judy, over there. But I'm hoping that everybody is enjoying their food. Carla, you feel like you had success?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think so. We're sitting down, so we're gonna find out.
Good. Well, everybody, go and enjoy your dinner. We've got coming up. I can stop recording and then I'll just explain a couple more things. Okay, Nicole?
I'm listening.
So everybody, I'm gonna stop recording. I hope you all enjoy your food. And I'm just gonna give some more announcements after this.
Buen provecho.
Buen provecho.